All right, everybody, welcome back to the Check Engine Light Club. I'm your host, Riftwood. You're going to want to buckle up because today we're diving headfirst into the murky waters of the middle age. That's right, we're going to be talking about what it's like to turn 40 and the changes that our body and our minds go through. So if you're over the age of 40 and you feel like your body is a little bit more of a clunker these days, or you're about to turn 40 and you just want to be prepared, this one's just for you. Oh, the good old days. That's right. Back when you could eat a whole pizza to yourself, chug a 6-pack of beer, hang out with your buddies all night long, wake up way early in the morning feeling as fresh as a daisy. Or a freshly opened beer at the least, right? Yep, those were the good old days. I remember those like it was yesterday. Unfortunately, that is way in the past. That's right. If you're watching this, you're probably waking up in the morning a little bit more like me with those mysterious aches and pains and wondering where the hell that spare tire came from. Am I right?
Hell yeah.
Well, my friends, it's called the metabolism slowdown. That's right. It's just another fancy way of saying our bodies have turned into a life-sucking black hole that's craving fuel. Now, it happens to both men and women, but here's where things get really interesting. And I mean interesting like when your mom said she needed to have the talk with you.
Oh my God.
And check it out. Men and women, we're just completely different animals. That's right. And I'm not talking about the obvious guys, okay? So let's get her head out of the gutter. You see, when a woman hits her 40s, her body starts to crave a lot more calcium and a lot more iron and a lot more of this and a lot more of that. You guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. You see, it's like they've got an unwanted house guest that just won't leave. But guys, as for us, we really get the raw end of the deal. Not only is it like we've got this unwanted house guest, it's like we've got the unwanted house guest. They refuse to pay rent and they still won't clean up their damn mess. You see, we start to lose our muscle mass, our bone density weakens, and our bodies stop responding the way that we want them to. It's like they're saying, hey, buddy, you partied way too much in your 20s and your 30s, and now you're going to pay for it in your 40s. So what's a 40-something to do, guys, right? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Today, we're going to be talking about revving up our engines and finding healthy activities and keeping our bodies and our minds in tip-top shape. We'll also be diving into the male psyche. That's right, that big abysmal pit you call your mind, guys. We're going to be finding out how to keep our mindset and our careers on track while we learn to take care of ourselves. All right, guys, it's time to get serious. We've had plenty of jokes and plenty of laughs up to this point in the video, but now it's time to talk turkey. That's right, no gobble gobble. No, not slapping up the turkey right here. Okay, so I did. It's all right. We put the turkey up because we've got to have a laugh. Life can be just so damn depressing sometimes, especially when you're going through your 40s. All the changes in relationships, the way you view your job, the way you value yourself, the way you look at your automobile, your house, your debt, your finances, your personal hobbies. Everything changes when you get into that middle-aged midlife crisis as a man. So we need to be informed so that we can be on top. And that's why we're tuning in to Dr. Stan Eckbert, who's going to be talking to us about cortisol levels in depth. And at the end, we actually have what I think is an amazing solution. We're going to be diving into that right after.
Cortisol is a stress hormone. So in order to reduce cortisol, we have to reduce stress. And stress has been linked to every disease condition known to man. And because stress is often a result of a lifestyle, it's a way of life that we have adapted, then in order to truly reduce stress, we have to change our lifestyle. So today we're going to talk about not just what the steps are.
Why more steps? I can barely haul my fat ass to the treadmill 2 feet from the couch. And you want me to take more steps.
So, what is something that everybody can do to mitigate stress? Well, I did some deep diving and some deep thinking on things I've done throughout my life that help mitigate stress, and I came up with this one. Yeah, guys, I know. Meditation, closing our eyes, becoming one with the world, right? Let the universe enter us and just pull on our heartstrings. But it's not always about that. And I know that when I was learning meditation, it's because I had become quite unstill in my mind. I'd become aggressive. I was lashing out, making all sorts of really stupid decisions. And I didn't want to deal with some of the stuff going on in my past. So somebody set me aside and they said, "Hey, have you ever tried meditating?" So for the first time in my life, I decided to actually try it. Yeah, it was a goose fraba moment for sure. I had to read a book. It was called The Four Agreements. I read through the book, I did some meditating, and I had an experience. Eventually, I found that my life became dramatically better. The stress became almost nothing, and I was able to handle situations which used to completely baffle me. So let's take a look at a couple steps that you can do if you're interested in trying out some meditation. Number one, first find your spot. Look for a quiet corner. This could be that charming nook in your living room or the place your cat claims as its throne. Just make sure it's peaceful enough to keep the distractions at bay. Number two, okay, let's get comfy. Sit down or lie down, whatever feels right. You can sit cross legged or just plop down like you're ready for a nap. Who doesn't love that? Just maybe not too comfy though, or you might end up snoozing off instead of meditating. Number three, breathe, breathe, breathe. Close your eyes and take a big, deep breath in, and then let it all out like you're blowing out birthday candles. Inhale the good vibes and exhale all that stress. That's right, now repeat this a couple times and feel it calm coming your way. Number four, mind wandering. No problem. If your brain starts buzzing like a bee, don't sweat it. Just gently redirect your thoughts back to your breathing. Think of it like training a puppy. It takes practice, but with practice and time, you'll get the hang of it. Number five, start small. Even 5 minutes counts. Set a timer and don't try to meditate like a pro right away. Building your meditation muscles is like lifting weights. Start small, and soon you'll be doing the meditation equivalent to lifting a car. Well, guys, there you go. 5 simple steps to beginner's meditation. Yep, that's right. Building a new foundation in your 40s isn't the easiest thing to do, and recognizing the symptoms that are telling you maybe it's time to be aware of your health are just as hard. Like the good doctor said, hey, you've got to watch your stress levels because they are the main contributor to chronic illness. And that just rings a bell, doesn't it? Stress induces inflammation that causes chronic illness. 99% of chronic illnesses are related to stress. So if you're wondering what's going on with your body, why you're feeling more sore, why you're feeling stressed, tired, or just a little bit ticked off, maybe it's time to de stress. All right, well, that brings us to the end of the daily triage and brings us to our mailbag segment of the show. That's right. This is my favorite part of the show. This is where we actually go into the mailbag. We pull out the emails and the comments from down below on what people have suggested for next week's episode, or just health related questions or personal questions they may have that we can give a quick witted and hopefully informational answer to. And that brings us to our very first mailbaggy. That's right. The first mailbaggy is Rick from Seattle. And our first question for next week is,
Hey, Driftwood, I'm 42 and recently divorced. I'm back on the market and can't seem to lose this damn belly fat and love handles. You got any tips for me?
Rick, it's all about diet and exercise. That's right. I'm not talking about running out and eating a big old head of iceberg lettuce with no nutritional value. And I'm not talking about jumping on a treadmill and knocking out 6 to 12 miles right now and changing your pattern dramatically in the exercise arena immediately the second. No. What I'm talking about is something more subtle, but we're going to get into that next week. Thank you for the question and the topic. All right, and that brings us to Jason from Multnomah Falls. Jason from Multnomah Falls. I'm over here in Eastern Oregon. Jason writes in,
What's up, D Wood? So I'm in my late 30s and I feel like I just can't keep up with my younger friends anymore. Bro, do you have any advice for me?
Yep, age is just a number, my friend. It's all in your head and in your back and in your knees and your ankles and your hands. Yep, when you hit 40, you slow down. That's just part of life. But I'll tell you what, next week we'll talk about how you can go ahead and take advantage of the situation and make your life a little bit better. So tune in, all right? That brings us to email number 4. Daddy Kubrick from New Orleans. Daddy Kubrick writes in,
Hey, pimpin', so I'm in my late 40s and I feel like I just cannot keep up at work anymore. I'm having a hard time adapting. You got any recommendations?
man, I wish I knew what kind of work you were talking about. I was in construction and I felt the heat quite a bit towards the end before my injury. Um, I could still run circles around the young guys, but it was taking twice as much effort to do about 3/4 the amount of work I used to be able to do. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this one and we'll tackle it head on next week. All right. So that brings us to our 4th and final email bagger. This one is Bob's your uncle. Oh, looks like Mississippi.
I'm turning 40 next year. My wife says my boobs are bigger than hers. Plus, I want to start preparing. What do you think I should do?
Well, Bob, that's a great question. And next week, we're going to be talking about not just physical exercise and the changes you go through in your 40, but nutrition and health changes you can incorporate into your lifestyle. All right, folks. Well, we have definitely covered a lot today. I appreciate everybody sticking around through the email mail-ins mailbag session of the show. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of the show and our daily win. Look, guys, the big 4-0 and beyond doesn't have to be a death knell. It doesn't. It can be a new beginning. So go out there and make your middle age the best middle age it possibly can be. Live your best life. And remember every day to do something that only you can do now that you're in your 40s. That way, you're always winning. So the big question this week is, what's your daily win? Not mine, but what's yours? And I'd like to see it down in the comments. Right in there, that way we can keep each other accountable for our daily wins and how our lives are going. I'll see you in the comments. Remember, I'm just a guy sitting around talking about life. So stay healthy, stay sharp, and remember, I'm Driftwood. And until next time, I'm signing off.